Hello, everyone. Reddy Linx here. Welcome back to another Reddy Linx's Choose Your Own Adventure livestream. I'm joined by Tyler again, and Topsy Turvy will be joining us pretty soon. Or at least I think so. And today's stream, we're going to be reading the Give Yourself Goosebumps book, Little Comic Shop of Horrors. If you're new to this series, basically me and the others will try and get one one good ending with three tries. That means if we get two bad endings, then it's okay, but the third ending, that's it. So this is number 17 in the series. There's over 20 different endings. So yeah, and remember, you guys in the chat can also intervene with when we get to a decision. I'll type down what decision you have to make, and you guys can post in the comments which way you want to go. Majority rules.
Wait, what? You're letting the people vote?
I always, I well, it's also a decision for them too.
This is,
It's kind of a mix of both.
this is confusing.
Like you and the others can choose which way to choose, and the people in the audience can also intervene too, if they want. That is.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
That was always the choice.
Oh, I just never see stuff popping up on my on the stream. That's why. I never see like any of the choices pop up. I don't know where to find that. Also, it's the
Because no
comments.
one intervenes. It's
Yeah,
because
no one ever does because there's no one to see it.
all right. Well, while Topsy Turvy is waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna say. We're starting now. I'm gonna read the Beware page. Beware! Do not read this book from beginning to end. Hey, you never noticed that comic store before. It's kind of dusty, but man, does it have great comics. If you check out the books on the spinner rack, you've spun into a comic book universe. Which superhero do you want to be? Will the supervillains destroy you? Or worse, will you end up as an ink blot? If you follow the horror sign to the basement, look out, you'll find horror down there. Alright, but not horror comics. This scary adventure is all about you. You decide what will happen and you decide how terrifying the scares will be. Start on page 1, then follow the instructions at the bottom of each page. You make the choices. If you choose well, you make it home again. But if you make the wrong choice, beware. So take a deep breath, cross your fingers, turn to page 1 to give yourself goosebumps. So yeah, looks like we'll encounter some horror and some comic or a comic universe. All right, while we wait, I'm gonna start on page 1 and we'll work our way from there. All right. I thought after school comic clubs were supposed to be fun, you grumble. You love comic books, and a comic club sounded cool, but it's run by Horrence Grumbatcher, the dullest kid in school. How could someone make a subject like comics boring? Horrence manages. He clicks his slide projector to a picture of a comic book cover. Here's the pic. Here's the first issue starting Super Doer, he drones. Today, it's worth nearly $200,000. Click. And here's the first appearance of Ballistic Bug. This comic goes for nearly 20,000. As if any kid in this club can afford that, you think. The projector clicks again, and a horror comic appears on the screen. Excellent. You love horror, but horrors can even make horror dull. This issue of The Seller of Scary Stories went for $1,600. He lectures. An ugly face sneers at you from the comic cover. Yuck. Looks like it looks like a rotten pumpkin with warts. You turn away and notice the classroom clock. How did it get so late? You run outside in time to see a horrible sight. Oh no, you groan. What's wrong? Find out on page 2. The school bus is already a block away. It left without you. Thanks a lot, Horrence, you groan. You growl. Because of his boring lecture, now you have to walk home. If you follow the same route as the bus, you won't get home for hours. You said you better try a shortcut, even though it means going through a part of town you've never seen before. You walk and walk along your shortcut with every step you take. Your book bag gets heavier. The area you're cutting through looks a little weird. The buildings are all old and dingy. The stores huddle together as if they're holding each other up. And the stuff in the windows is very weird. You pass a clothing store that seems to be selling Halloween costumes, even though Halloween is months away. And those dolls in that toy store window, they look like vampires. Oh, topsy turvy is going on. Hello,
Hey
topsy
y'all.
turvy.
Yeah. Wait. What? You
Hello.
right? How
Yep,
are y'all both?
we're okay. We
Fair.
just
Glad.
started the book on page 2, so you did.
Uh, wait. So this is
I'll
like
give you.
the.
Yeah, we started Little Comic Shop of Horrors. I'll give you a quick recap.
Okay.
Basically, we we joined some kind of comic after school comic club, but it was run by Horrence, who was the dullest
Oof.
kid in our school.
Oof.
And he basically showed some comics that went over $10,000.
$10,000.
Something about Super Doer, some horror comics, the Ballistic Bug. But it wasn't. That was before we realized that because of that lecture of Horrence, we missed our bus home, and now we have to walk through a town for a shortcut to get back to home.
Hmm. Very
And we're
interesting.
walking through a pretty dull town.
Hmm. Neat.
Sorry, no link today, Sylvia. That was last time. Oh, all right. Let's continue.
Mhm. Yeah.
You're relieved when you spot a store for vacuum cleaners. That's normal, you think. And next to it, hey, a comic shop. Want to visit? Go to page 3. You step inside the comic shop. It's dimly lit. You can barely make out the comics on spinning racks. Beyond in deeper shadows are tables with row after row of boxes. These are the back issues, where collectors look for treasures. The owner stands behind a cash register. He looks familiar, with his round face and warts, but you can't place him. He grunts when he sees you. "Humph, kids. Well, who does he expect to come in to buy comics?" As you walk past him, the store owner calls out, "Leave your bag here." You scowl. Why is he treating you like a thief? You think about leaving, but you like a rest from walking. Besides, you really want to check out the comics. Strolling around the racks, you notice the latest issue of Major Disaster. You bought it just a week ago. This guy has a sticker on it for half price. Walking a little faster, you start picking up comic books. Doesn't the owner know what these things are worth? The deeper into the store you go, the darker it gets. A pair of bookcases block your way, but there's a little space between them. You see light coming through the crack. Push through to page 4. You squeeze between the bookcases into an open area. A dusty light bulb dangles from the ceiling, and its dim glow. You make out another spinning rack full of comics. A sign taped to the top of the rack says, "You think this is a library? Look, but don't touch, or you'll be sorry." You peer at the comics on the rack. Whoa, that's the issue of Ballistic Bug from Horrence's slideshow. The comic is marked from $2. And up there, on the top rack, is the incredibly expensive copy of Super Doer. Then you notice something else. A doorway beyond the rack. Metal stairs lead downward to the basement, you guess. An arrow-shaped sign points down the stair and it reads horror. There's also a tattered sign up the open door. Try to make out the faded letters. It seems to say, "No admittments. Trespassers will be gloomped." Gloomped? What's that? You don't really care. All you care about is making a tough decision. Should you take a closer look at the rack? Or should you go down the horror section? Alright, we're given our first decision in the book. If you check out the rack, turn to page 12. If you go downstairs, turn to page 51.
Hmm.
Hmm.
What's the smell decision?
Hey, Reddy,
Yes.
I know you don't have to say yes, but look, man. A friend of mine really wants to join us, and when I told them I was busy with you, they're all like, "Oh, wah wah, I must mean nothing to you." So I feel like the only logical thing to do would be to let him join us. I'm sorry, okay? I feel like it's for the best.
Okay, as long as he's a good listener and he stays quiet while I read.
I okay, I sent him the link. There.
Well, should we look at the rack or should we go downstairs?
Hmm. I'm gonna say look at the rack. Unless. I don't know. I mean, would it not be better because what if there's no escape downstairs? Easier to escape. I mean,
Yeah, it seems like we could get trapped in the basement
I mean,
somehow.
it's easier to escape if we go in the. If it's easier to escape if we just stay on the first floor or whatever it is.
Yeah. Let's look at this rack. Alright, page 12. You've got to see if that $2 comic is really the famous first issue of Super Doer. But when you grab the spinner rack, it starts to turn by itself. Still worse, the metal rack seems to have glued itself to your hand. You can't let go. Your jaw drops as the moving rack yanks you off your feet. You're dragged around in a circle, and the rack keeps speeding up. Soon, to your horror, you can't touch the floor anymore. It's like some sort of weird carnival ride. The rack is whizzing around and you're flying through the air. "Hey! Hey, mister!" You yell to the store owner, but the words are torn from your lips by the screaming wind. You feel as if you're caught in a tornado. You clench your teeth to keep from groaning. Your body is stretched out like you're a warm piece of taffy. You shift your grip. One hand touches a comic on the rack. The comic starts to glow. Now suddenly, there's a new pull. You're being sucked into the glowing comic. Fly to page 103. We're being sucked into a comic book. Your body feels as if giants have been using you for a game of tug of war. You're sick and dizzy from the spinning, but you notice something is wrong. The world seems strangely flat. The colors are very bright. You peer up at an incredibly blue sky. Sky? Wait a minute. How did you get outside? An elbow jabs you. Someone steps on your foot. You aren't just outside, you're in a crowd. And what crowd? You're packed in so tightly you can barely move. The person behind you is actually breathing down your neck. Could this be a parade? What's going on? You ask. No one answers you, but a voice cries, "Here he comes!" A shadow falls across you. When you see what's blocking the sunlight, your eyes grow big. It's a gigantic tin can with arms, legs, and a head. No, it's a robot. I don't believe this, you gasp in a strangled voice. You better believe it. The thing is it's as big as a skyscraper, and it's striding straight for you. Go to page 69. Yikes, you shout. Everybody run! You push, you shove, you try to get out of the giant robot's path, but the crowd is too thick. You're trapped. Hey, a whiny voice says in your ear. I know you. You turn and spot a familiar face in the crowd. The kid from the kid from school named Wally. Come to think about it, he hasn't been in class lately. Where are you? You cry. What's going on? You just got here on the spinner like express, huh? Wally asks. Okay, I'll make this fast. You're stuck inside a comic. In the comic books universe. You roll your eyes. Yeah, right. It's true, Wally insists. Now here's the deal. We can shift from comic to comic, using a magic word. But if you use it too often, you'll turn into an ink blot. He shudders. It happened to the kid I was with, Alex. He tried to leave this comic. Now he's just a smear. Glance anxiously at the robot. It's awfully close. We'll be smeared. We'll be smeared too if we don't get out of here, you declare. Turn to page 33. The crowd still isn't moving, and the robot is only a couple of giant steps away. Have you used have you used these magic words? You ask. Wally nods. I started out in another comic. I was some superhero doopy sidekick. Then I met Alex, and we came here. All you have to do is think of another comic and say the magic words. Okay, that gets you to another comic, but isn't there a way to get back home? Back to the real universe? You ask. Wally glances at you. I think so. A mad scientist can send you, but you have to talk to him into helping you. You can barely hear him. People are screaming and bumping into you. What are the magic words? You beg. Wally closes his eyes thinking, then he yells, Gust shoot! And he disappears. You think of two comics you had been studying on the comic rack. Both of them have mad scientist villains. Will the magic words take you to them? Time to find out. Close your eyes. We're given two choices. To visit the world of Super Doer, go to page 104. If you like Ballistic Bug better, turn to page 66.
Super duper. I know. Probably the first option because I know it depends really. I mean, uh, hmm,
There is no clear choice on which one is better.
yeah. There's no right or wrong. It's just like, I mean, it's hard to say if we're gonna like lose a life here because you can't. I mean, they both sound dangerous to be honest.
Yeah, but Super Doer, Ballistic Bug, I say super doer.
Yeah, I say super doer. Yeah, yeah. I agree with
Alright.
that.
Yeah,
We're going.
sure.
Alright,
Let's.
we're going super doer. Get shoot! Get shot! You yell. When you open your eyes, you're standing beside an office tower that's still being built. The crowd is gone. The robot is gone. You're all alone. This is bizarre, you mutter. A voice suddenly yells, "Heads!" Of course, you look up. A falling brick hits you right between your eyes and bounces off. You goggle in disbelief. That brick should have killed you, but it felt like a leaf being blown against you. You look down at yourself. Hey, you've grown up. You have all kinds of muscles, and you're wearing what looks like purple long underwear with a big yellow SD on the on the chest. You're not only switch comics, you turned into Super Doer. Cool. Got to find I've got to find a steel bar, you exclaim. I can really bend it with my bare hands. Go looking on page 26. Glance around the building. In sight, there's a pile of bricks. There's a cement mixer, and there's a bunch of those steel rods. They can they use to strengthen in concrete. Exactly what you were looking for. You pick up a heavy bar, flex your mighty muscles. Yes, the steel bends. It's like thin wire. "Huh," a voice yells. You glance up. A guy in a hard hat is glaring at you. We're going to use that bar, he complains. Now you've ruined it. Try to straighten it out, but you can't fix the last this kink. Then an idea comes to you. I'll just heat this up with my magnum vision, you announce. You stare at the bent bar, cross-eyed, the way Superdoer does in the comics. Sure enough, the bar gets hot. Too hot. The middle of the bar melts away. Whoops. You guess you need to practice with your cool new powers. The workman looks pretty angry. But then he's distracted by a sudden burst of crash and screams. Another guy in a heart that dashes up. Super Tour! He cries. Some horrible creature's trying to knock down our building! Leap into action on page 59. For a second, you wonder or what you're supposed to do. Then you remember you're a superhero. It's your duty to save the building. You leap up and suddenly you're flying. Wind ruffles your hair. Your cape flaps behind you, and you soar high over the building. You look down, and your jaw drops. Just flying is incredible enough, but you didn't expect this. Something the size and the shape of a Tyrannosaurus Rex is smashing at the building with its hands and tail. But the thing's scaly skin is made of shiny metal, and and your cosmic ray vision shows that there's machinery inside. The creature turns its glowing glass eyes on you. You expect an attack. Instead, the robot dinosaur says in a whiny voice, "Ah, great, now! Super door after me! I've got super door after me!" You skid to a stop in midair. You know that voice. Wally? You cry in disbelief. We're given a choice. If you try to talk things out with Wally, go to page 25. If you'd rather fight him, go to page 102.
Hmm. 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 That's a hard decision.
What if this thing isn't actually Wally? We
Yeah.
could tell it had machinery inside of it.
Yeah. I gotta go. Hang on. I'll be back.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. I'm gonna have a sip of drink. All right. I don't. We can either talk things out, fight him.
I just drew this out of you. Yeah, I had to.
Sorry.
Oh my god. Yeah, sorry about that,
Welcome
guys.
back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Wait, so what's the choice?
Talk things out with Wally or fight him.
I wanna cry.
Ooh. Yeah, but what if this? Yeah, but like you said, what if this thing's not actually him kind of thing? Right, Taylor?
I mean, what do you guys think? Should we fight it or talk to it?
I'm gonna say talk to it, but maybe I'm just too nice.
I think
Yeah,
the
maybe you
people
should.
are expecting us to fight it. Like,
Hmm. Maybe you have
they
to
seem
break.
pretty. Go on.
Maybe you have to like break the objective. Like, wha-
No.
All right, let's try talking to it first.
yeah, I'm gonna say talking
If
to it.
this does lead to a bad ending, don't worry. We still have
Your
2 more
friend is
tries.
gone. You had the
All right.
chance. Now
You
he's
float in the
mine.
air in front of the metal monster's face. It sort of looks like Wally, except for the size and the flashing glass eyes, the metal scales and the giant teeth. And it certainly sounds like Wally, only louder. I can't believe that the first time you switch, you become a hotshot superhero, he whines.
Please,
Guess I'm just lucky,
please.
you reply. But you shouldn't feel too bad. Being a monster is better than being a stupid sidekick. True, Ollie agrees. It is cool being a giant monster. A huge hand flashes forward to pluck you out of the air. Because because this monster gets to do you in. Funny, Wally, you laugh. Remember, I'm Super Doer. You flex your super muscles to get free. Nothing happens. You're still trapped in Wally Monster's gigantic hand. Yikes, turn to page 46. Wally, you cry. Why are you doing this? We're pals. Well, maybe not pals, but we go to the same school. I'm sorry, Wally replies. But the monster formula also makes me T-Rex Loud Snore's slave. He told me to destroy Super Door. Uh-oh, things are desperate. You give the Wally monster a blast of your magma vision. His shoulder begins to melt. Ow! Ow! He yells. I can't take this! I'm getting out of here! Get shot! But when he yells the magic words, Wally doesn't vanish. A ripple runs through his giant form. The fingers around you feel slightly rubbery. His looks runny. He's melting. Then you realize Wally's time has come. He used the magic words once too often. He's turning into an ink blot. You strain to break away. You can't get free. Holding up your hands in front of your face, you see the horror that you're getting runny too. Bummer. Your Uncle Mel always called you a little squirt, but now you've turned into a big drip. The end.
Mm. Mm.
So both us and Wally became an ink blot.
Hmm. It's a bit surprising. Hmm. I mean,
Well,
like,
st-
well,
still a bad ending nonetheless.
yeah.
So
Got two left though, so you know.
let's jump back and instead of talking to him, let's fight him this time.
Fair. Hmm.
School pal or not, you aren't wrecking this building, you cry, flying down like an arrow. You aim for the Wally monster's nose. You already have your fist stuck up the driver to deliver or your power punch. But when you arrive, Wally isn't there. Desperately, you screech to a stop before you power punch your way deep into the ground. You roll to find a huge, prehistoric space monster climbing up the building. Huge metal claws screech against the concrete walls as the Wally monster pulls itself up. The noise is about 10 times worse than the sound of your fingernails on the blackboard. Sound of fingernails on the blackboard. And since your super ears are 10 times keener than ordinary ears, it's downright painful. You better quit it, Wally, you warn. Beginning to annoy me. Keep keep up the fighting on page 97. The monster with Wally's face and voice reaches the top of the building. You get ready and jump. Whoops. Still need to get used to your new powers. You overshoot the building. Speeding high to the sky, spinning in midair, you charge back. The Wally monster has reached the top of the unfinished building. Your fist goes back for your power punch. This time, you won't miss. If you zoom down, the Wally monster grabs a big steel grinder that sticks up from the top of the building. Tearing the grinder loose, he slings it over his shoulder like a club, or whack! Too late. You realize Wally was holding the grinder like a baseball bat, and he's using you as the ball. Grunt as the steel beam strikes you, even when you're even with your super skin and and Maximus and Maxi muscles, the impact knocks the wind out of you. Wally's swing also knocks you out of the construction site. Tumbling helplessly, you streak toward the horizon like a line drive. Swoosh on to page 48. You spin out of control. Thanks to that shot from Wally, wind blasts past you, making your cape whip about until it wraps around your head. You're ready to barf from all the tumbling, and your cape is blinding you. Wait a second, you're Super Doer, and Super Doer can see through things. With his cosmic ray vision, you turn that slightly squinty look that Super Doer gets when he uses his superpower. The good news is that you can now see where you're going. The bad news is that you're about to crash into a building. All right, we're given a choice. To use your flying powers to veer away, turn to page 36. If you'd rather rely on your super skin and Maximus muscles to get you through safely, turn to page 94.
What's better?
Huh?
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, what's the better option here? What's the option with the least
Flying
amount of risk?
powers to veer. We're about to crash into a building.
Hmm.
Can you use flying powers to veer away, or rely on your super skin and maxi muscles to get you through safely?
Well, chances are if we do the second option, depends how high the actual building is. I mean, if it's like few stories, will probably be fine. Uh, I mean, is it worth taking that risk of just like flying? I mean, it's like chances are we're just like, I know it's like there's no right or wrong in this. Just try what works, I guess.
Flying powers, I mean, we've been hit by like a metallic baseball bat, and we're going as fast as a baseball.
Okay. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm just gonna say fly away, because we probably
So
can't
we're
take
gonna
it.
we're gonna use our flying powers to veer away.
I guess. I mean, best.
Uh,
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna say yes.
all right. If this is wrong, we still have one more. We'll still have one more life.
Yeah, true.
All right. You'll have to be fast, very fast, to veer away from the building. And there are other buildings all around you. You'll have to avoid them too. There's only one direction to go. Tilting your body so it faces straight up, you pour on the speed.
Oh, he's dead.
Up you go. Faster, faster. Now your body is a mere street. You zoom past the building.
He's dead.
Whoa, you're
Bet.
really moving.
Bet right now.
In fact, you're moving so fast you can't slow down. The air is getting thin. The sky darkens well, until you're in the blackness of outer space. There's no air
So you
at
learned not
all
to
out
ignore me,
here,
have you?
but that's
Yes,
all right.
yes. I've learned.
Can, can,
Do you want your friend gone in the
can I stop
grinder?
being interrupted,
Oh,
please?
hell no.
What?
Don't you dare think about that.
Uh,
I'm gonna
what?
give it one last
Right,
chance
Tyler?
before I put in there.
Please
Ty-
don't, please. Please, Tyler. I want to talk
Tyler,
to you.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm so sorry.
what's going on?
I've learned not.
Something really important.
I've learned not to reject you.
I've been captured by the gremlins.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson, okay? I've learned everything.
Tyler,
Never reject your calls.
Tyler, you're not making much sense.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
That's right, that's right.
I'm sorry.
You're someone else
I thought I was muted.
Please don't lie to me.
Alright, sorry about that, stream.
Uh,
Anyways, in fact, you're moving so fast you can't slow down. The air is getting thin. Oh wait, I've already read that. But that's alright, Super Doer can hold his super breath. A second later, you notice something large and gray in your path. Oh no, it's the moon. Sheepskin and Maxi Muscles might have survived a crash into a house, but the moon is a different story. Ah! You scream. Nobody hears you in outer space. The air simply gets sucked out of your lungs. You can't even have the breath to yell. Get shot before you splat into the moon. The end.
oof.
So we crashed into the moon instead of the building.
Okay, that's okay. How does that happen? I guess it's
I
just.
don't even. But crashing into the moon is worse than a building.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, true, true.
Alright, we'll go back and this time we'll try and use our super skin and maxi muscles.
Yeah, I agree. Just
Alright.
yeah, just try our best, I guess.
Kerwham! Kerwham! You hit the wall with a tremendous crash. And keep on going. At least your cape is off your head now. Bang! Crash! You smash your way through other rooms in the building, but your super skin isn't even scratched. Amazing! You thump through one more wall before you come to a stop. Time for a little payback. You rocket out through the series of holes you already made in the walls. Quick as a flash, you zoom back to the Wally monster. Pow! Bop! Piff! You unleash your power punch on Wally. Hey! Ow! No fair! Wally whines. It's not my fault! I didn't want to be a monster! Tex Loudsnore will turn me into one! Tex Loudsnore? You repeat. Not only is he the top villain in Super Doer comics, he's also a mad scientist. Just the guy you need. Move on to page 57. The eye that you eye the Wally monster suspiciously. Why didn't you ask Tex Loudsnore to get us out of this comic book universe? You demand. I didn't get a choice, Wally replies, sulking. The second I entered his lab, he got me with creature creator juice. Sounds likely. Go and turn yourself into the police. I'll deal with Tex Loudsnore. Leaping high into the sky, you head for Mount Skull. In the comic, Super Doer never managed to find out where his arch enemy's hideout was. But since you read the comics, you know exactly where to go. Minutes later, leaving with two G's, big with two G's, city, you spot a mountain shaped like a skull. You fly into the giant skull's left eye. It's a cave that Sorry. It's a cave that leads deep into the mountain. 20 feet inside, your pet. Uh, Tyler, is that your friend?
Yeah,
All right. Can you
I
promise
promised him
that
this.
the
I promised
promise
him
the
this. I promised him
okay?
all this, and we can't go back on this, or at least I can't afford to. I told him, I promise I'll let you join.
All right, as long as they behave. Otherwise, they will be banned permanently. Welcome.
Come in.
All right. 20 feet inside. Well, they just left immediately. That was weird. Anyways,
Hmm. Okay.
20 feet inside, your path is blocked by a steel door. With your super doer powers, you know you can get through the steel door and talk to Tex Loudsnore. The question is, which power should you use? We're given a choice. If you try your magma vision again, go to page 36, uh, test your strong breath, turn to page 68.
Hmm.
Magma vision or strong breath?
Okay, so the magna. What? Wait. So remember the first decision thingy? Where I was like,
Uh,
what's the
this is
name?
bad. Uh, hey, ready, bud? My friend
What?
says he feels threatened.
Threatened?
You know, you said better behave or you'll permanently ban him. Yeah, I think you may have scared him off.
Oh,
Shit.
sorry. That's
Um,
tell him that. Tell him I apologize for that. I just we're just too. Just tell just tell him just tell him I'm sorry.
you
Okay,
know,
but we're
uh,
just too focused in on this book. Anyways, try our magma vision. Go on topsy turvy.
Remember like that first decision where like he got like severely hurt by it, the magnavision. I think it was the magnavision, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then but but then Wally just he tried to go to a different comic but turned into an ink blot.
yeah, true. Hmm.
It did say if we go to a different comic way too many times, we'll eventually turn into an ink blot.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, we're being stopped by a steel door.
Hmm.
The super
Y-
breath, that could either be two things. One, it could either be like
Yeah,
fire or ice breath, or or it could be like we could breathe in outer space.
yeah. Because I'm thinking it's like, yeah, because I'm thinking like ice breath, but what's that gonna do against a steel door?
Well, I mean, it could freeze the steel and we could break
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, but that would take too much power because what happens, because if he's literally right behind, if Wally is right behind us, what's the point? Because we won't have time to kick down the door.
Well, Wally's not behind us. We told him to turn himself into the police, and we went to the mountain. If we use our magma vision, we could probably melt the door, since it's made of steel. Alright. Magma vision, strong breath.
Well, it doesn't specifically say what the strong breath is.
I'm just gonna say screw it and go with strong breath.
Yeah, same.
Since the magma vision
Maybe that's
didn't
something
work
different.
last time, I think I'm just gonna use the strong breath. Plus, it says test strong breath, meaning we haven't used it yet.
Yeah. Huh. It doesn't
All
say like corrosive strong breath.
It
That would
just
just
says it just says if you test your strong breath. It doesn't say what kind of strong breath it is.
yeah, exactly.
Or maybe
Hmm.
it's the or maybe it's the or maybe it's the shout from Skyrim where
Maybe.
all right, whatever, let's just use a strong breath.
Fair.
You suck in as much air as you can, then you let it out with a whoosh, as if you were blowing out the candles at the biggest birthday cake in the world. The door flies off its hinges and lands with a crash in the long hallway beyond. As you walk down the corridor, you find that Tech's loud snore has other defenses. All sorts of weapons attack you, but your super doer, deadly poison gas only makes you sneeze. And Tech's loud sneers disintegrator beam merely gives you a terrible itch. Wow, you exclaim. This is incredible. Y- You could get used to being a comic book hero. The hallway ends at the other steel door. No problem. Winding up, winding up, you smack it with a power punch. See what happens on page 136.
Hmm.
This solid steel feels like silly putty under your fist. You keep pounding until you tear a hole through the door. Then you use both hands to rip an opening large enough to walk through. You step into the mad scientist laboratory. You recognize Tech's loud sneer easily from the comics. He's tall, skinny, and he doesn't have any hair. Instead, the top half of his head is made of gleaming chrome. He's Tech's loud sneer, the man with the pop top head. Tech's loud sneer is villain and monster maker. Super doer, he snarls. I don't know how you found me, but my latest invention can handle even you. The mad scientist hefts a test tube in his hand, then he throws you. Can you catch it? To find out, hold a 12-inch ruler straight up with your thumb and forefinger. The bottom of 1 inch mark in your finger to let the ruler drop. Okay, now it's giving us like a little test. Hold a 12-inch ruler straight up with your thumb and forefinger. If you catch the ruler between the 1 inch mark and the 9 inch mark, go to page 114. If you catch the ruler between in the 9 inch mark and the 12-inch mark, go to page 105. If you don't catch the ruler, try again.
Hmm.
I
Wait, so
don't have a ruler.
I
It's
got one. Hang on. I'll be right back.
Do
I'll
you
go
have a
fetch
ruler?
one.
All right.
Wait, it's 12-inch, right? 12-inch.
Yeah, from yeah.
Yeah, I can get one. Yeah. Ready?
Yes. All right.
Wait. So
Let me just repeat the rules. Hold a 12-inch ruler straight up with your thumb and forefinger. On the bottom at the 1 inch mark, open your fingers to let the ruler drop, then catch it again. And it depends on whether you catch it at the the 1 inch mark and the 9 inch mark, or the 9 inch mark to the 12. So what do you like, from 1 to 9 or 9 to 12?
I get it. So like, just throw it up in the air and just see what it lands on.
Hold a 12-inch ruler straight up with your
Yep.
thumb and forefinger. At the
Yeah, got it.
bottom, All right. Tell me which side you catch. If you don't catch it, just do it again.
Oh no, I've catched in the middle.
What inch does it say?
5 and 7.
All right, I guess we're going 1 inch mark and the 9 inch mark on
Sure.
page 114.
Which one?
You catch the test tube, but the top pops off. Poof! The world disappears in a puff of purple smoke. Your skin begins to crawl, your bones ache. Then the cloud disappears. No! It's just down around your middle. The lab seems smaller. No, wait! It's you! You're growing. The purple cloud is farther down, and the roof of the cave is coming closer and closer to your head. That's 90 feet high, you think. That makes me. Your thoughts get jumbled at your head as your head bumps against the ceiling of the cave. Close your eyes, bracing yourself to get squashed against. Down at yourself, you realize you've changed. Your skin is green and scaly, and you have a thick tail. Gulping, you run your fingers over your face. Oh no, bulging eyes, scale, sharp teeth, and tusks! Tusks! What kind of monster has Tech's loud snore turned you into? Learn the worst on page 34. Tech's loud snore cackles with glee. How do you like your new batch of creature creator, Super Doer? It even works on you. He grins evilly up at you. I believe you're my finest creation. You're the you're the biggest and scariest of them all. You take one angry giant step forward toward Loudsneer. The mad scientist yells, Freeze, ugly! Your muscles suddenly lock up. You can't move at all. In fact, you nearly fall on your horrible, tusked face. Loudsneer puts his hands in his pockets and beams up at you. Best of all, my formula makes you my absolute slave. Now, you just stand there. Don't move a muscle until I decide what to do with you. You try desperately to move, but you can't. Uh-oh. Can you move on to page 67? Wrestling Tech X Loudsneer putters around the lab. He walks past you as if you were a huge statue. You can't even move your mouth to say the magic words that would whisk you out of here. Now he's working on some sort of formula. Smoke wafts up to the ceiling of the cave, right past your giant nose. The smell is nasty. You twist your nostrils to keep from sneezing. Wait a minute. Tech's loud snore told you not to move a muscle. But you moved. Maybe the formula doesn't work at all as well as Tex thinks. Maybe this absolute slave thing is fading away. You decide to test the theory. You try bending your little finger on your right hand. Of course, that little finger is 4 feet long. The finger finally bends. Next, you work on your hands and feet. Finally, you turn your head. The mad scientist is still working. He hasn't noticed. How are you going to use your feet? How are you going to use your freedom? All right, we're choice. Jump on text last year, turn to page 73. If you keep still and spy on him, turn to page 62.
Mm. Okay, if we spell him, we can catch him off guard. And surprise is always the bestest way to winning a fight because you can just body him, I guess you can say.
And
Just
again, uh, continue.
yeah, you can just catch him off by surprise, basically. Depends what he's gonna do because wait, wasn't he not working on something?
He was working on something, but he hasn't noticed that we can still move.
Yeah, true. Wait, what exactly is he working?
We don't know. We
Hmm.
just know he hasn't noticed this yet, but whatever it is, it involves something about smoke. Maybe another potion?
Maybe, or maybe it could be like the fixed version of the lockup joint thingy, whatever it's called.
What if we I think if we go for him, he's just gonna throw the potion and I don't know. This is a tough decision.
I'm gonna.
Wait, were you gonna say something, Tyler?
Huh? No, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just. Sorry, man. I guess I should get out of here before I make things any worse.
Wait, what?
Huh?
It's alright, man.
I thought
You can't help it.
I know.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you can't just say sorry for something that you haven't even done. I mean, it's like I know, like you didn't do on purpose, and like you can't help these things, can't you? Can't you?
Look, if you guys think it's best for me to just get out of here and leave you
I
alone,
don't think so.
okay.
You didn't do anything.
we're not saying anything. All right, I think it's best if we keep still and spy.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we're keeping still. Pretending you're still frozen, you watch Loud Snore work at his computer. The huge complex machine even speaks. No data entered per manipulation of transul transuniversal phlogiston, the computer reports. Huh? Oh well. Well, just because the computer can speak doesn't mean you can understand it. The mad scientist turns to you. I've decided what to do with you, he announces. I've sent for another of my creatures to going to send you both to destroy Big City. You can't you can't keep still any longer. This calls for action. You wait until Loud Snore turns his back, then you lean down and scoop him up. In your dreams, Loud Snore, you growl. You can't do this, Loud Snore sputters. I control you. Wrong, you reply. Right now, I control you. Whoa, this is pretty excellent. First, you tell him, I want you to change me back to Super Doer. You figure it would be a good idea to have superpowers while dealing with techs. And next, but your next demand is drowned out. Thunderous footsteps echo through the cavern. What now? Find out on page 88. The footsteps get louder, and then one of Loud Snore's horrible creatures stomps in. It's a dinosaur-like creature made of metal, plastic, and it looks like your friend Wally. Loud Snore points at you. Destroy this monster! He orders the new creature. But don't hurt him. Don't listen to him, Wally, you shout. He doesn't really control you. Huh? Wally's glowing eyes looks confused. Hey, not doing what he said? I guess he doesn't control me. You grin. So where were we? You ask Loud Snore. Oh yes, you were giving me back my super doer body. And demonstering my friend too. Holding Loud Snore by the collar of his lab coat, you dangle him from your giant hand. All right! Screams Loud Snore, clinging desperately to your fingers. I'll turn you both back! Now he's talking. Go to page 99. You set Tex Loud Snore down. He runs over to one of the lab tables while he mixes chemicals. Keep an eagle eye on him. Wally slides up to you. Do you trust Loud Snore? He whispers. I mean, he's a villain, a bad guy. He's also a mad scientist. You point out. You said that's what we need to get at home again. You trust him if you want to, Wally says. I'm out of here. He takes a deep breath, then hollers. Yes, shot! But instead of disappearing, Wally clutches at his throat and screams. He falls back against the wall. Then his body begins to melt all over the rock. Horrified, you step toward Wally. He frantically waves you away. His scream turns to bubbly moans. The plot! He coughs out. I tried to check its doing. Please get to. It's too horrible. You squeeze your eyes shut. When you open them again, it's all that's left of Wally is an enormous stain running down the wall and onto the floor. Yeah, go to 106. Text now Loudster stares from you to the blot and Wally has become. There must have been something wrong with the batch of creature creator, he declares. I better run some tests on you. We don't want anything to go wrong when I change you back. The mad scientist turns several weird instruments on you. He frowns. My Phipticon is getting odd readings from you. My formula reacted very strangely with you. So? You demand. Ladsnor licks his lips nervously. Well, I can give you back your superdoer body, but to do the job, I'll have to take your superpowers away. Well, you start to say, trust me, I know what I'm doing, Loud Snore assures you. He starts mixing ingredients. It's about a second and a half. He has another test tube in his hand, ready to throw. Wait a second, you think. How do you know how do you know what he's got in there? How do you know he's not going to turn you into something even worse this time? Alright, we're given a choice. Trust Loud Snore or don't trust Loud Snore.
Ooh.
Alright. He said he knows what he's doing, but
Yeah.
to be fair, we did take our eyes off him at that one point when we were looking at Wally. But then again, he doesn't know the ink blot thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He
I
seemed
don't think.
generally confused about the ink blot.
Yeah, just. Yeah, if he
Talking about
tries
Loud
anything,
Snore.
just escape. Yeah. Hmm. Huh.
Well, what should we do? Should we trust him or should we not trust him?
Ooh. I mean, we can always just escape, kind of thing. It's not like.
We're still a monster, though. People will think
Yeah.
we're the enemy.
Ooh. I know, because if we
Yeah,
trust him and he's actually helping us, I guess you can say. I don't know. I mean, we did look away from him, so you know.
but then again, the ink blot thing he seemed to generally not know.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust him because I think if we don't, we're just going to be a monster and people are going to accuse us of being the real creature. If this does lead to a bad
Does it
ending, then
bother me
it's
one
generally
sec?
my fault. Alright. I'm going to trust Loud Snore.
I'm gonna say that. Yeah. I'm gonna say trust him.
If this leads to a bad ending, I'm going to be furious. Okay, I'm ready, you declare. Tech's loud snore test tube crashes down. New puffs of smoke explode around you. You sudden, you're surrounded by a rainbow-colored cloud. Feels as though a giant hand has landed on top of your head. Down, down you go. Pushed by this invisible hand, your bones seem to grind together. Your muscles feel as if they're snapping. Every nerve in your body is screaming in pain. I never should have trusted Tex Loudsnore, you think in horror. He's just whipped up a potion to destroy me. Is this the end? Find out on page 98. The colors fade away. Tex Loudstar walks up and pinches you. Ouch! You yell. That hurt! You wish you were home in bed. You wish you were out of this comic, of course. You could yell. No shot! But you didn't want to risk turning into an ink blot. Besides, your only hope of escape is from the comic book's universe. Is to get help from a mad scientist. And he's one right now. Ah! Loudstar gloats. I've done it! You've lost your powers! I didn't want them, you reply. Look, I'm not who you think I really am. I really am a kid in trouble. I need your help. As you explain how you wound up here, Tex Loudstar's eyes narrow. Incredible, he exclaims. Impossible. That's what that's what I thought until it happened, you say. It sounds like an interdimensional hyperflux, Loudstar muses. Very interesting. Let me see what I can do. Hear more from the mad scientist on page 82. First, for the first time since touching the comic rack, you feel a little hope. Could you really get me back home? Loudstar rubs his chin. Well, I need to run some tests to see if your comic composition is different from ours. And then there's the effect of the trans-universal phlogiston. You don't understand a word the mad scientist is saying, but you're eager to help. Just tell me what to do, you cry. Loudstar points to a big metal box. Climb in there. In there? Maybe it's your imagination, but the box looks like a big coffin. Is Loudstar really trying to help you? Or is he trying to destroy you? Isn't there some other way I could use to make these tests? You ask nervously. Loudstar shrugs. We could try Hazafraza, the Hazafraza device, he says. He points to something that looks like a huge floodlight, dangling from the ceiling, but but I won't get a as good as but I won't get as good as reading. But I won't get as good as reading. We're given a choice. Do you want to get into the coffin, turn to page 130, or do you want to try the Hazafraza device?
Hmm. Hmm. Wait, so do we know what they both do? So, like, I'm guessing we don't, because he just said
I don't
kind of
even know
thing.
what that I don't even know what a Hazafraza device even is.
Yeah, same.
But
I don't know.
something tells me that's even worse.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, so coffin or has a Fraser device. Hmm.
Right? It didn't say it was an actual coffin.
Yeah,
What if he just
exactly.
what if coincidentally that's just designed as a coffin, but it's actually just some device?
Maybe.
I'm getting in
Huh.
that coffin. Screw it.
Yeah,
So,
let's do it.
and we can always get out, so it's not that bad, to be honest. Well, if you know what
Alright,
I mean.
I'm getting in. Nervously, you climb into the metal box. Tech's loud snore or slams the lid closed. You lie there in darkness. Suddenly, you're surrounded by a blinding light, like a camera flash. The loud snore opens the box and helps you out. Your story seems to check out, he admits. According to my readings, your atoms don't belong in this universe. Can you figure out a way to send me back? You ask. Loud Snore smiles evil. Maybe, just maybe. And if I do it right, I may get rid of Super Doer forever. Every other time I kill him, he comes back to life later. How will you do it? You ask, a little more alarmed. To escape from this dimension, every atom of you and of Super Doer must be destroyed. Loudstar declares. Your teeth chatter as you repeat. Destroyed? Loudstar nods. That will free you from this comic. And me from Super Doer. He grabs your arm. Just stand in front of the un uncomfort uncomfort uncomf uncomfortablator and don't move. Alright, we're given a choice. To try this route home, go to page 122. to try to escape before your atoms get destroyed. Turn to page 96.
So basically, we have to destroy our atoms to escape. Huh.
He
Is that
says our... What?
wait? Wait, so wait, so our
Something...
atoms. So uh, should I?
He says our atoms are not to this universe.
Yeah.
But wait, he did say Super Doer does come back later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna... Then again, it's like, what if this is the only route home and there's no other way?
Well, I think. Wait, did he not say we have to destroy our atoms just to escape or something? Ooh.
But what if that's to escape this universe? And what if our atoms are not actually destroyed in the real world?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, a comic... I'm just gonna risk it. Screw it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Might as well just risk it.
I risked it twice and we still didn't die, so
Yeah.
why not? So third time's a charm.
Wait, so destroy. So don't run away.
Use this route to get home.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say that's fair.
All right. You swallow hard. Go for it. You command. Tex Loud Snore hits a button. Streaks of blue lightning crawl along the barrel of and the uncomfortable later. You close your eyes and stand absolutely still. Hey, you thought having your atoms destroyed would hurt. Instead, you feel light, incredibly light, as if the slightest breath could blow you away. You open your eyes to discover that Tex Loudsnore's laboratory is gone. Instead, you're floating among tiny, bright spots that look like stars. They grow brightly red, yellow, blue against the solid blackness. Giggling, you swoop upward. Multicolored stars twirl around you. Higher and higher you go, till the colored stars blur into a bright, harsh glare. You don't feel weightless now, but heavy, clumsy. Staggering around, you grab onto a door handle. You stumble into a tiny store packed with vacuum cleaners. An old man with long gray hair grabs you by the arm. You almost fall. You okay, kid? He asks. Stagger over to page 45. Kid, you peer down, you're not Super Doer anymore. You're yourself. Hey, this is the vacuum store from the next shop at the comic shop. I was trapped in the comic shop, you gasp, pointing. You couldn't have been, the old man declares. That place has been closed for years. Huh? You describe the comic shop owner. The old man gives you an odd look. That was Milo. He died 3 years ago. Whoa! Have you traveled in time? You ask for today's date. It's the same day as when you left the school this morning. You dash outside, heart pounding wildly. The stores all look the same except one. The windows of the comic shop are boarded up. The nails on the plywood panels are all rusty. The shop has obviously been sealed up for years. You head for home, totally creeped out. Could it have been a dream? It seems so real. One thing is certain, you never took another walk through this neighborhood, and you hope you'll never ever find yourself in the comic shop of horrors again. The end. We
Ooh.
reached a good ending. We got home.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
consider
Oh.
so we actually reached a good ending.
Honestly, well done, guys.
Well,
saying.
okay. Well, I didn't overthink things this time. How did I do? How did I do on that? Do you guys think I've
You did,
improved?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, you
Well,
did.
yeah.
You did good, Tyler. Keep it up.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, viewers. this is the end of the stream. We hope you enjoyed this choose your own adventure of Little Comic Shop of Horrors. Next time is Deep in the Jungle of Doom. We hope to see you in number 9. But until then, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Check out Topsy Turvy and Tyler's channels, and we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.